Team USA just dropped their selection pool roster and the basketball world is absolutely losing it. Caitlin Clark isn't just on the list. She's been named a starter for the December camp at Duke. But here's the part that has Geno Auriemma seeing red. Paige Bueckers, his golden girl from UConn, is riding the bench. After years of Geno dismissing Clark, calling her fans delusional, and claiming she wasn't ready for elite basketball, USA Basketball just proved him spectacularly wrong. The same coach who snubbed Clark when she wanted to play at UConn is now watching her take center stage on the national team. If you support Caitlin, comment "Let's go CC" in the comments below. When USA Basketball released their 18-player selection pool roster for the December training camp at Duke, the basketball community started buzzing immediately. The roster looked pretty standard at first glance. You had your expected veterans like Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young mixed with rising stars. But then people started looking closer at the starter designations. That's when everything exploded. Caitlin Clark didn't just make the roster, she got handed a starting position for the December camp. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers found herself listed as a bench player. Let that sink in for a moment. The player Geno Auriemma has been pushing as the future face of women's basketball is sitting behind Clark on the depth chart. Sue Bird and Kara Lawson are running USA Basketball's future now. Bird stepped into her role as managing director while Lawson took over as head coach. These two made their priorities crystal clear with this roster announcement. They're building toward the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Clark is their centerpiece. Social media went absolutely wild when people realized what had happened. Clark's fans started celebrating like they'd won the lottery. They'd been watching their favorite player get dismissed and doubted for years. Now, USA Basketball was putting her in a starting role over the player everyone said was supposed to be the chosen one. Geno Auriemma's camp went completely silent. You couldn't find a single comment from UConn after the announcement dropped. This is the same program that spent years promoting Bueckers as the next superstar. They pushed her as the player who would take over women's basketball. Now, she's fighting for minutes behind someone Geno claimed wasn't ready for elite competition. The timing makes this even more significant. This camp represents USA Basketball's first real look at building their 2026 and 2028 rosters. They're evaluating players who could carry the program for the next 4 years. Clark getting starter treatment tells you exactly where their priorities lie. Stephanie White's inclusion as a court coach adds another layer to this story. White coached Clark with the Indiana Fever and understands exactly how to maximize her impact. She'll be working directly under Lawson during the camp. The Indiana connection runs deep here. Aaliyah Boston also made the roster, giving Clark a teammate she already has chemistry with. The roster includes players like Angel Reese and Juju Watkins as first-time invitees. But Clark's starter status sets her apart from everyone else making their debuts. USA Basketball is treating her like a proven commodity rather than someone who needs to earn her spot. Lawson personally selected the court coaching staff, which includes Natalie Nakazi and Nate Tibbetts, alongside White. This group will be evaluating talent for USA Basketball's most important competitions. They're not just looking at individual skills. They're building a system around players they believe can deliver gold medals. The 2026 World Cup represents USA Basketball's chance for a 5th consecutive title. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles need a face for the sport. Someone who can bring crossover appeal and global recognition. Clark brings exactly that kind of star power. Clark's supporters have been waiting for this moment for years. They watched her break records at Iowa while critics questioned her competition level. They saw her dominate her WNBA rookie season while people said she wasn't ready, breaking 62 records along the way. Now, USA Basketball is validating everything they believed about her potential. This roster announcement represents way more than just player evaluations. USA Basketball is making a statement about their future direction. They're choosing star power and proven results over old loyalties and predetermined narratives. Clark's starter status proves that talent eventually wins over politics. The December camp at Duke will give Clark her first chance to prove she belongs at this level. But USA Basketball already seems convinced. They're betting their future on her ability to deliver when it matters most. The relationship between Geno Auriemma and Caitlin Clark started way before anyone knew how special she would become. During her high school recruitment, Clark actually wanted to play for UConn. She was interested in joining Geno's program that had dominated women's basketball for decades. But Geno didn't offer her a scholarship. He passed on her completely. Clark ended up choosing Iowa instead, where she would go on to shatter every record imaginable. While Clark was breaking scoring records and selling out arenas at Iowa, Geno started making his opinions about her future very clear. He questioned whether her skills would work at the professional level. Geno said Clark was not built for the physicality of the league, and that her game wouldn't translate to the WNBA. He painted a picture of someone who dominated college basketball, but would struggle against bigger, faster, more aggressive defenders. The most telling moment came when Geno talked about Clark's fans and their expectations for her rookie season. He called them delusional for believing she could make an immediate impact. Geno stated that the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. He was basically saying her supporters were living in fantasy land if they thought she could compete with established pros. Those delusional fans predicted Clark would finish top 5 in MVP voting during her rookie year. Most experts laughed at that idea. Geno certainly didn't believe it would happen. But Clark went out and averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. She led the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. She finished 4th in MVP voting, proving every single one of those supposedly delusional fans absolutely right. The contrast with how Geno treated Paige Bueckers tells the whole story. Bueckers got immediate praise and recognition from Geno and the old guard of women's basketball. She was handed the crown before even stepping on a WNBA court. The basketball establishment embraced her with open arms and constant support. Bueckers never had to prove herself the way Clark did at every single level. Clark had to earn respect through performance after performance. She broke college scoring records, and people said the competition wasn't good enough. She led Iowa to back-to-back championship game appearances, and critics found new reasons to doubt her. She dominated her rookie WNBA season, and some people still questioned whether she deserved the attention she was getting. Bueckers received the opposite treatment entirely. She got featured on magazine covers and received endorsement deals before playing professionally. The women's basketball world treated her like the chosen successor to the throne. Meanwhile, Clark was out there actually breaking records and changing the sport while facing constant skepticism from people like Geno. After Clark's incredible rookie season, Geno suddenly changed his tune completely. He started calling her a game changer and an incredible phenomenon. He acknowledged her impact on the game and said, "She's certainly changed the landscape, no question." The same person who called her fans delusional was now praising her leadership qualities and competitiveness. But Geno never actually acknowledged that his original predictions were wrong. He never admitted that his bias might have clouded his judgment about Clark's potential. He just quietly shifted his public stance and hoped people would forget about his earlier comments. Every single prediction Geno made about Clark failing has been proven spectacularly wrong. She handled the physicality just fine. Her skills translated perfectly to the professional level. Her fans weren't delusional at all. They saw something special that the old guard missed completely. Now, USA Basketball's new leadership is making their priorities crystal clear. Sue Bird and Kara Lawson trust Clark enough to hand her a starting position while Bueckers sits on the bench. They're choosing proven results over predetermined narratives. They're betting their future on the player Geno said wasn't ready, rather than the one he's been promoting for years. Sue Bird and Kara Lawson didn't randomly pick Clark as a starter. They designed their entire approach around getting the most out of her unique skills. Bird stepped into her role as managing director with a clear vision. Lawson took over as head coach with specific ideas about tempo and spacing. Together, they're building a 4-year plan that leads directly to Berlin 2026 and Los Angeles 2028. The December camp at Duke represents way more than just player evaluations. USA Basketball had to make a choice between keeping the old guard happy or betting everything on Clark's star power. They chose Clark. They're aiming for their 5th straight World Cup gold medal in September 2026. That means they need players who can deliver under the biggest pressure. Clark already proved she can handle that kind of spotlight during her rookie and sophomore WNBA seasons. Lawson's coaching staff tells you everything about their priorities. She brought in Stephanie White as a court coach alongside Natalie Nakazi and Nate Tibbetts. White coached Clark with the Indiana Fever and knows exactly how to use her court vision and pace. White understands Clark's game better than almost anyone. She watched Clark transform the Fever from a struggling franchise into a playoff team. Now she gets to help Clark make that same impact on the international stage. Clark's chemistry with Aaliyah Boston gives Team USA something most international teams spend years trying to build. These two already know each other's games. Boston knows when Clark is about to thread a pass through traffic. Clark knows where Boston likes to catch the ball in the post. That connection removes a huge adjustment period that usually comes with national team play. The coaching staff can focus on adding new pieces around a foundation that already works. International basketball rules actually favor Clark's style more than traditional WNBA play. The three-point line sits closer to the basket in international competition. The lane is wider, giving Clark better passing angles and more room to operate. Lawson's emphasis on tempo and spacing fits perfectly with how Clark likes to push the pace and create scoring opportunities for teammates. The international game rewards players who can think quickly and make split-second decisions. Clark does that better than anyone. USA Basketball knows Clark brings something no other player can match. Her crossover appeal reaches way beyond basketball fans. She drives television ratings and sells tickets in ways that transform entire franchises. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles need exactly that kind of star power. The Olympics represent a chance to showcase women's basketball to a global audience. Clark gives them a face for the sport that people around the world will recognize and want to watch. The roster includes veterans like Brittany Griner, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. But Clark's starter status shows where the program is headed. They're not just trying to win the next tournament, they're building a foundation for sustained success over the next 4 years. Clark will be 26 years old during the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. She'll be entering her prime basketball years with 4 years of international experience behind her. Lawson's coaching philosophy centers around getting players to play faster and smarter. She wants teams that can switch between different styles of play depending on what the game requires. Clark fits that vision perfectly. She can slow the game down and pick apart a zone defense. She can also push tempo and create fast break opportunities that other teams can't match. The transition from WNBA rules to international play usually takes time for most players. Clark's skills translate immediately. Her shooting range extends well beyond the international three-point line. Her passing ability works even better with the wider court dimensions. Her basketball IQ allows her to adjust to different officiating styles and tactical approaches. Geno's fury makes complete sense when you understand what just happened. His influence over USA Basketball got completely bypassed. The program chose to build around the player he dismissed rather than the one he's been promoting. Sue Bird and Kara Lawson send a message about whose judgment they trust for the future. They're betting everything on Clark's ability to deliver gold medals and transform women's basketball globally. Caitlin Clark's starter status on Team USA represents the ultimate vindication against years of bias and dismissal from people like Geno Auriemma. The December camp at Duke will be her coming-out party on the global stage. She gets to show the world what her supporters have known all along. Her skills translate perfectly to international basketball. Her leadership drives teams to new heights. The path to 2026 and 2028 runs directly through Clark now. USA Basketball chose talent over politics. They picked proven results over predetermined favorites. For Fever fans and Clark supporters everywhere, this moment validates everything they believed about her potential. If you support Caitlin, comment "Let's go CC" in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.